Opposition parties are reluctant to accept the government's findings into the landing of the Gupta chartered aircraft, and the AMCU president has denied that his union invited any political parties to the funeral of the murdered AMCU Lonmin organizer held today. Ambusiso Khadebe with the latest news update. Opposition parties are reluctant to accept the government's findings into the landing of the Gupta chartered aircraft at the Waterkloof Air Force Base last month. COPE leader Mosiuoa Lekota says there is no way that politicians were not involved in the matter, adding that blame cannot be placed on officials alone. Government has denied any political involvement in the matter and blamed officials at the Indian High Commission, the South African Air Force and the Chief of State Protocol. Lekota disagrees.
And until such time that government has come out transparently to say who of the political leadership directed staff in the various departments to do what has happened, we will not accept sheepishly this kind of report. We reject it completely.
The DA's David Mania says the party still wants an independent investigation into the Gupta saga, as it believes that the government's probe into the matter has protected President Jacob Zuma and ministers.
Ministers were not in the dark. The Minister of Defence and Military Veterans received a request for landing rights. She turned down that request, but she never advised the Secretary of Defence or the Chief of the SANDF of her decision. And in that respect, she was probably negligent. Now, this was obviously not included in the scope of the investigation.
The Free State Cheetahs, a rugby franchise, has expressed shock at the sudden death of SABC television and radio presenter Vuyo Mbuli. Mbuli died last night at the Mediclinic in Bloemfontein after he collapsed in the presidential suite at the Free State Stadium. He'd been a guest there watching the Super 15 match between the Cheetahs and the visiting Reds. Free State Cheetahs Managing Director Harold Pfister says Mbuli was well liked.
Vuyo came to support the Cheetahs. He's a great Cheetah supporter and we love him a lot. Every once in a while he would drop an Afrikaans thing and the people just loved him. And he just collapsed in the suite. We had medical staff right there on the spot, 2 doctors in the suite. They tried to recover him, and then they took him away to the medical clinic. And later on we heard the sad news that he passed on. Such a sad thing that happened.
And lastly, AMCU President Joseph Mathunjwa has denied that his union invited any political parties to the funeral of murdered AMCU Lonmin organizer Mawethu Stevens, held at Mthatha in the Eastern Cape today. United Democratic Movement leader Bantu Olomisa was among those attending. The yellow T-shirts of his party among the mourners raised some eyebrows. The UDM is largely based in the Eastern Cape. Mathunjwa reiterated his union's stance that it does not align itself with any political party. Catch the latest news on Newsbreak, Option 1.